Hello, my name is Bill and I'm an alcoholic. When I was 14, my cousin gave me a can of beer and I drank it and I felt absolutely fantastic. And I'd never felt that good in my life up until that day. And when I'd finished it, my cousin said to me, "Would you like another one?" And I said, "Yes, please." And why wouldn't you want another, little can of drug that made you feel absolutely fantastic? That set the pattern for me, and I straight away wanted to drink. On most days, and when I could, even through school, I did a lot of work. I was the richest kid in school because I used to work after school in a store, sweeping floors. And on Saturday morning, I'd sell clothes in a men's clothing wear shop. And Sundays, I'd chop wood and mow lawns. And I was quite wealthy as a student at high school. But of course, I was earning the money so I could get some money to drink. And I could afford to drink even when I was still a student. After I left school, I got a job working in the outback. And I worked as an 18-year-old in the Kimberleys, northwest Australia. And there was about 12 or 13 men in the camp. And I was the youngest. And after work, we had a fridge in the tent where we ate our meals at night. And you'd mark off on a clipboard how many cans you had that night so you could be taken out of your pay. And I'd noticed that at the end of every week I had this huge long, little ticks against my name, and I was drinking more than anyone else in the camp. And these were hard, sort of living, hard drinking, rough outback guys, and yet I was still then at the age of 18, barely shaving. I was still drinking more than anybody else there. And this confused me. I said, what's wrong with everybody? And I just expected everybody to be doing what I was doing. But being a slow learner, I continued on my merry way, and I never thought twice about it during my years. I came back to Melbourne and I joined a newspaper, and I worked as a newspaper man for the next 40 years. And everybody I worked with in those days, 90%, were full-on drinkers. We drank in the mornings, we drank at conferences, we drank on the way to jobs, on the way back from assignments. We drank on assignments, and everybody was doing it. And I thought this was fun, and I was so lucky to get into a job where I could earn good money, have a great time, and drink all day. It was terrific. But I was slowly starting to become affected by this disease I had. I didn't know I had it, had no idea. Later in my 40s, so it's 20 or 30 years later, I got a job. I was between jobs, which will probably give you an idea of how dysfunctional my life had become, and I was working as a barman at a country pub, and I was amazed to see. It was like the clipboard in the outback. I was amazed to see how people were coming up and just ordering 2 or 3 drinks for the night, and I couldn't understand what was wrong. Was there some special holy day happening this week, or was it Lent? I fully thought everybody was doing, all those years, for 30 years, I thought everybody was doing what I was doing, which was drinking as much as I could, whenever I could, every single day. But people were just coming in, and that was really my first inkling of, maybe there's something, I'm doing something a little bit odd here. And because I could see, just by having this job as a barman, that people weren't all like me. Anyway, I went on my merry way, and I got married, and during the marriage I tried so hard to be a controlled drinker, and I gave up drinking during the day, and I just worked at the newspaper, and things were going well in lots of different ways for me, except for that the fact I had to finish work after not drinking all day, and then I couldn't basically get enough. Then I was trying to sort of prove to my wife that I was a controlled drinker, so I'd wait till she went to bed and sort of get stuck into the cans of beer. And, I could get it down to a bare minimum of 8 to 10 cans of beer a day. And I was really controlling my drinking. I was really trying hard. And that was about the bare minimum I could manage, which was 10 cans of beer after work. So that'll give you an idea of how I was in the grip of this disease, this addictive disease. During the 80s, going back a bit now, that was at the height of my drinking. And I was living with a girlfriend at the time, and she didn't know this, but I used to go to bed and have a cask of wine next to the bed, and she used to sleep all night, and I'd wake up every 2 hours during the night and have 2 pots of wine, which is almost a bottle. So I'd do that, but it was secretive, which is another part of the disease of alcoholism. I'd keep it a secret from her, and she'd go off to work in the morning, and I'd get up and watch her drive down the driveway. Then I was happy. I'd get back into bed with a great book, pour myself a glass of wine, and look, I'd been drinking all night. And that's sort of a very dangerous, both physically and mentally and psychologically, to be drinking that amount of perhaps 60 glasses of alcohol a day. Anyway, I finally got into recovery in my 50s, and what's good about recovery for me is waking up in the morning and feeling fantastic and having a clear head. Also, recovery has brought me the gift of looking into myself, which I didn't have before. And now I can see how self-absorbed and affected by the alcohol I was. I didn't realise I was at the time. And I would have put up a pretty good argument that I was just normal and I was just enjoying a drink. And now that I've actually, I am in recovery, I can look back and see quite clearly the basically perverted psychological state I was in. Anyway, the good news is I love being sober and I want to stay sober. And if you can identify with anything I've been saying, please look on our website at the names and addresses and telephone numbers, and you might be able to contact us and we might be able to help you. Thank you.